Well, happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the 3 a.m. Knitter Podcast, episode number 9. A very warm welcome to you if this is your first time here, and thank you so much for coming back if you're a return visitor. So, I hope that you are all having a wonderful Sunday. If you're in Canada, this is the May long weekend where they say it's the official kickoff for summer, but you know what? Traditionally, this weekend, we go from one extreme of weather to the other. So for example, here in Nova Scotia, where I'm from, the weather yesterday was gorgeous. It was sunny, it was hot. We sat out on the deck and had a beverage. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. Had all the windows in the house open to get fresh air in. And today it's like gale force winds, overcast, and it's gonna rain for sure. So that's what the May long weekend is all about in Canada. You get every type of weather. So anyways, let's get rolling. A little bit of housekeeping as always before we jump in. You can find me on Instagram as 3am Knitter. If you need to email me, you can email me at 3amknitter@gmail.com. Those of you who have been sending out cards and letters and packages and things like that, you can find the snail mail address for me down below in the show notes. And also, I announced last episode or the episode before that I have created a Patreon page, and I'm happy to let you know that I have my first patron, so that's fantastic. Thank you so much. But if you missed it in the previous episodes, there are 3 membership tiers on Patreon, and this is for people who would like to support me in my efforts to get this content out to you and get the podcast done. It's going to help me get more equipment and things like that. So if you're called to participate, you'll have my undying gratitude, of course, along with some benefits of being a patron. So the first membership tier is the cast on tier. That's $5 Canadian per month. And with that tier, what you get is early access to the 3am Knitter monthly newsletter. You'll get first crack at pattern releases and things like that. Free registration to the 3am Knitter Quarterly Book Club, which is going to be launching very soon. And of course, you're always welcome to participate in the virtual knit night that will be starting as well. For those of you who want to contribute a bit more, there's a $10 per month tier called the Garter Stitch tier. So you get all of those things that we just talked about. You get periodic surprises in your mailbox, 25% discount code for all of my upcoming patterns, also the ones that are already published, and a 10% discount code for the Fall 2023 Virtual Knit Retreat. More about that coming in future episodes. And then there's the top tier or the colorwork tier for $25 per month, where you get all of those things that we just talked about. But you get a 50% discount code for patterns that I create and publish, 25% off discount code for the fall retreat, colorwork tier knit and sip night, which is just for members of that particular tier. And then once a year on the 1-year anniversary of your patronage, you will get a Nova Scotia themed crafter gift box sent out to you. So lots of fun things on Patreon. So if you're called to, follow the link down in the show notes, check it out. Let me know if you have any questions, but I'm always happy to be here with you every other Sunday. But you know, for those of you who do want to help out the podcast a little bit, there's a place for you to do that. So let's see. Okay, so I want to jump right into what I'm wearing. Now, I showed this in the last podcast episode, but it was still wet and I couldn't wear it. So this is my Aster T. So I'm just going to stand up so you can see a little closer. So these are the aster flowers there. Now this is a little bit cropped. You know, it comes just to the top of my hip. The aster design goes all the way up the back. I did a 3-needle bind off on the shoulders. I love this t-shirt. It is light and it is airy. Now I'm wearing an undershirt with it today, but you could certainly wear it without as the weather gets warmer. Now, one thing, if I do make this again, which I very well may because I have tons of minis that I can use, I will make the body a bit longer and I might flare it out a little more A-line. But this is the Aster T Megan Nodecker or Pip and Pin. I'll put the links again down in the show notes. Let me just take a wee look here. So it's fingering weight, and fingering weight is the body, 3.5 millimeter and 3.75 millimeter needles, or US 4 and US 5. The yardage ranges from 466 to 1212 meters, or 510 to 1325 yards. It is a paid for pattern, so it's $8 US. However, I did not buy my pattern off of Ravelry. I went right to the Pip and Pin website and I signed up for their newsletter. And by doing that, I got a discount code as a free gift. And so I applied the discount code to the pattern. So got a little bit off that way. But it's got, I think I remember telling you this before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different sizes. So it's very size inclusive. And it's a really fabulous project to use up any minis that you have. Like if you've participated in advent calendars in the past and you've got all these minis hanging around, but you've heard the story before about the big package of minis that I got as a gift from somebody who I did a commission knit for. So I had tons to choose from. So if I go back to my project notes, so I started this on March the 30th and I completed it on May the 7th. So a little longer than it would normally take me. I got a little, you know, stockinette stitch is stockinette stitch, right? Yeah, so anyway, this was a project. Again, I've talked about this before as well. This was a project and part of the Year of Adventurous Knitting, which is a year-long event that my LYS, Natural Ewe Yarns, is hosting. So they have a Facebook page. You can just, you can search the Year of Adventurous Knitting. So we have a little group there where everybody can show off their work on the project. So for an example, you know, same thing, Aster T, that's somebody else's version of it. Actually, I think that's Andrea's. Yeah, so Andrea's one of the owners of Natural Ewe Yarns. She knit up this t-shirt for her daughter, Jasmine. And actually there, look, there's a picture of Jasmine wearing it. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, so pop on over to Facebook and join. So this is the second project that we've done. The first project was the coffee break shawl. Then we had a choice between a couple of patterns for project number 2, and there's going to be another project starting very soon. So the idea of the Year of Adventurous Knitting is they're giving us project choices that use up the minis. Now, ideally, you're using up the minis from the Natural Ewe Yarns because they do an advent calendar. I didn't participate in that advent calendar last year because I didn't know Natural Ewe Yarns until this year. So anyway, pop on over, check it out. It's a lot of fun. We get, you know, we get online. They have a maker circle on Zoom, so we get online and we show off our projects. You don't have to be doing one of these projects, but you can participate from anywhere. And you know that I am a wildly passionate supporter of Canadian makers, Canadian LYS, and especially my LYS, because, you know, we have to support our local yarn shops, because if we don't support them, we won't have them. So, you know, yes, it's fun and it's great to shop online. Absolutely it is. I love to do that too. But please get out and support your LYS if you can. If you can't go in and buy something, then recommend them to somebody, because that's just as important, isn't it? So anyway, so the Aster T, I'm very happy with it. I did modify the pattern a little bit in that I didn't put sleeves on mine. So when I finished the Aster yoke, and I seamed up here, I just picked up the stitches and just did about 5 rounds of stockinette, and then 5 rounds of 1x1 rib. Did I do? See, I didn't write the notes down. 1x1 rib, and I think I did actually 1x1 twisted rib. So yeah, so as I say, the only change that I would make is that I will make the body a little bit longer the next time. So the body here, now I did talk about this before, and this is one of our prizes that I'm giving away today. So I used the Natural You Morning Fog colorway, the Pure and Simple Fingering, 100% untreated merino. It's 400 meters. I used 2 skeins of the main color. So I really am pleased. I'm just going to stand up so you can see the fabric. Can you see the subtle colors in here? So Andrea does all the dyeing, and it's all natural dyeing. Isn't that something else? Look at that. So you may recall, oh, it looks like I got a little pull there, but you may recall that I had originally just chosen purples to do it. But when I started knitting the body and started seeing that really beautiful, you know, periodic color pops, I thought, no, I've got to change it to a more natural color. So that's why I went with these greens. So let me just, bear with me one sec, because I brought up, there it is here. So just make the picture bigger. That's on the Natural You website. Morning Fog is the colorway. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of information. Extra fine merino wool, 100% merino wool, 4-ply fingering, approximately 400 meters per 100 grams. Yeah, and it comes in a multitude of colors. Sage, like the other one that I kind of really, that wasn't it, sorry. October Kiss, is that what I bought here? No, that's Caribou. Look at this. This is called Coral and Seafoam. Actually, let me make the picture bigger. Look at that. I'm digging that. Yeah, anyway, so check out the Natural You website. It's Noctuidae.ca. And you can see all of the lovely things that my LYS has. So Aster T, one of my faves. I will knit it again. And I was noticing that just by virtue of the way that this sits on my body, it almost kind of makes like a little, looks like a little V, but that's unintentional. So yeah, anyhow, it's a fun knit. You'll enjoy it, so give it a try. I've seen lots of people knit this in like really stark contrasts. So for example, the body is white, and then in between the Aster stitches is your main color, right? So they've done the body in white, and they've done just the Aster stitches all in black, or vice versa, or something like that. And that's really beautiful as well. So, you know, if you don't have a whole bunch of different minis like I did, you could certainly do it in that kind of a color scheme. So, all right. Next, we're moving on to works in progress. So I am working on the Handmade Sock Society #5, which is a group of patterns by Curious Handmade, Helen Stewart, who, by the way, writes the most brilliant sock patterns. So I have finished the first sock. So you can see, these are called the Shadow Box socks. So it's a cuff down construction with a heel flap gusset. and rounded toe. I am really, really pleased with these. So they've got like a little, I don't know if you can see that really well, but it's a little bit of some yarn overs there and what have you. And this is knit up in the colorway Brown-Headed Cowbird by one of my favorite Canadian dyers, Songbird Yarn and Fibers. I've talked about them a lot before. So I finished up that sock, and I've actually, I've turned the heel and started the decreases. So I'll probably have this guy finished by tonight. I just have the foot and the toe left to do. So I wanted to ask you something. So I use Magic Loop for my socks. It's my favorite method. You know, there's tons of others, and I've tried them all, but I just keep coming back to the Magic Loop. But what happens for me when I get to this point, like after I've turned the heel, I don't know what it is with the Magic Loop technique at this point where there's decreases. I can't get my head around it. And so what I do is I switch at this point to DPNs. And then once I've got all of this gusset work done, then I put it back on my, my circular, there we go. And I continue around doing Magic Loop until the very end, and then I just Kitchener off the toe. So how do you knit your socks? Do you have any, like those of you who do Magic Loop technique, do you have any tips or tricks for me to continue on with the Magic Loop through this heel part? I don't know what it is. It's the weirdest thing. I can't get around it. It's I don't know what it is. So you may recall that I talked about this before. So this is a 6 pattern release, and Helen Stewart, she releases 1 pattern per month. So the first pattern came May the 4th. That's when I cast this on. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I don't even know if that's Star Wars or Star Trek or something, but I keep hearing it all around on May the 4th. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, sorry if I've insulted you Star Wars Trek people. Anyhow, so shadow box socks. So if I just do a quick click on here, let me see if there's a good picture. Yeah, these look. So there's the picture right from the Ravelry page there. Very, very nice. Yeah. So each month a new pattern will come out. So the next pattern's due on June the 1st. So I'll be in a good place to be ready for that, because like I say, I'll probably have, now that we have a long weekend, I'll probably have that sock finished tonight. If not, at tomorrow morning's coffee, which will give me some time to work on other projects before the next pattern comes out. So very happy about that. And again, Songbird Fibers. So Songbird Fibers, Songbird Yarn and Fibers is in Stratford, Ontario. One of my favorite. I have used a lot of their yarn. This is the made out of the 80-20 fingering. And again, as I say, it's in the Brown-Headed Cowbird colorway. Like, look at that. That's a really good representation right here. So you've got those browns and teals and darks, and oh, so nice, right? But I'll put a link again down to their website. Check them out. They've got amazing colorways. There's something for everybody. I think that you'll enjoy checking them out. So that is, although I have 1 sock done, I'm gonna call it a work in progress because the pair is not finished. So next week, for sure, I will, or next podcast, I'll have those all finished up. And then you may recall from last week that, or last podcast, sorry, that I asked about what you guys thought about this yarn. So this is the Cascade Yarn Sunseekers. It's 47% cotton, 48 acrylic, and 5% metallic. This is in the melon colorway. Look at that, sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. So I was looking for pattern ideas for that. So I did find one. I'll just take this piece out. So I found a free pattern on Ravelry, of course. And it's a drops pattern. So it's called the Dazzling Diamond Vest. There it is there. That's kind of cute. So I've started it. This is the first piece. So you can see, let me see if I can stretch that out a bit. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be great. Little bit of sparkle, nothing too crazy. It's a free pattern. You have to be able to read charts for this pattern. So I've done that first piece, and this is the back. I don't have a whole lot done on the back yet. So this is not a pattern, this is not a project I don't think that I will ever take to knit night. The reason is that I'm just gonna reach over here to grab the pattern. So when you get through certain rows, like there's chart, 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 chart. So for example, the part that I'm working on right now is these 3 charts. And then when you're working on the right side, you go in this order. When you're working on the wrong side, you go in this order. So there's a lot of moving parts, and it's, that's why I say it's not really a knit night type of project, because I find that I have to pay attention. And of course, I am holding this in my Be By Design project bag by the lovely Bridget McKay. She's such an amazing bag maker. I have talked about her before. She lives in Ontario, yeah, her bags are amazing. So this bottom piece here is cork. They're just so beautifully made. Snap here, beautiful inside pocket. So I have many of her bags. She is one of my faves for sure. So that is my works in progress. As soon as I get that sock done, I'm going to talk about bringing back on track my Noctuidae sweater. So I'm going to come back to you here and talk about this. Was there anything else I wanted to say about this dazzling diamond pattern? It's got 6 sizes. It's a free pattern, like I say. DK weights, needle size is 4mm or US 6, and the yardage ranges from 496 to 797 meters, or 542 to 872 yards. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. That's the wind. My gosh, it's getting really strong. Anyhow, so I'll have to find some buttons. If I don't have anything in my button stash that will work, maybe that'll be a fun thing for me to do, is find some great buttons. Let's see. What else can I tell you about this? Not very many projects on Ravelry. There are only 9 projects on Ravelry, and actually it says 9 projects, but there's only 4 showing. Yeah, so you know what, so far I'm enjoying it. I'm liking the design. So I'll try and work on that and get that done within the next couple of weeks, because I think it'll be a nice top to wear. as it gets nice and warm here. So anyways, so like I said, I am going to start working on my Noctuidae sweater. So I started this back on December the 17th, and on my Ravelry project page, I have titled it Anne's 2023 Amazing Sweater. So that means I have the whole year to finish it. That's what I'm telling myself. So I have this in this wonderful project basket that was made for me by one of my mom's dearest friends, Anna. And I mean, look at this fabric that she used. Look, on the sheep. Isn't it adorable? And then this fabric up here looks like knitted stitch. So this sits flat on my table, and it's huge on the inside. So I've got my pattern, I've got all of my yarn here, I've got my mini skeins. Oh, it's so anyhow, so you'll recall, of course, I haven't got very far on this. There's a lot of chart work starting, so I've started to put in another color. So there's some of the Farah. Can you see? Oh. It's a little tricky to show because I don't have a whole lot done yet, but yeah. So I'm really pleased with this pattern. Actually, Jody from the Grocery Girls gifted me this pattern. So there's a picture of the sweater. Look at that. Oh, I'm so excited to knit this. You wouldn't know it, that it's been sitting with no love for a while. Here are the schematics, but that gives you kind of an overall picture of the sweater. Isn't that lovely? It's even got work on the sleeve here. So yeah, I'm just gonna pull this out. So let me see if I can. So this is my main color here. I'll give you all of the particulars in just one moment. And this is one of the contrasts. These are my, these are yarns from Natural Ewe Yarns, my LYS. And my all-time favorite yarn of all time, I will knit anything and everything with this colorway, is Malabrigo Archangel. So it's got purples and golds and reds, beige, like, oh, this is my all-time favorite colorway. So that is in there. And I also have some Natural Ewe Yarn minis for some of the other colorways. So I've got this purple, or this purpley mauve, all hand dyed. This guy here, again, Natural Ewe Yarns. Then there's two more. So these two. So that's what's going to make up my Noctuidae sweater. Bear with me while so the, excuse me, Natural Ewe Yarn, the gray, the main color, right here. So this is Natural Ewe Yarn Echo. And the gold, or the honey that I showed you, is Natural Ewe Yarns Gots to Have It, the honey colorway. Actually, that's better. That's even better. Yeah. So excited to get back to this. The progress is going to be slow on this sweater. There is a lot of chart work. There's a lot of color work. It's 3 colors in a row sometimes. So, you know, that takes a little bit of concentration, but I will persevere, and I hope to have an update for you with a little bit more work on it the next time that we chat. So that's kind of getting back into the rotation, which is making me really happy. However, as happens, you know, when you're scrolling through Ravelry, there was a new pattern published that immediately caught my eye, and it's called the Secret Garden Sweater. So let me just make this full screen. Would you just look at this? So you can see it's a 3/4 length sleeve, although you could adjust that if you really wanted to. Kind of a boat neckline. Look at that color work, almost the entire body of the sweater. Isn't that beautiful? So that just was published this month. It's by Eleanor Mortensen. Fingering weight sweater. Am I crazy? Nah. So fingering weights, needle size 3mm, 3.5mm, or US 2.5 and 4. The yardage is 360 to 440 meters. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking it must be more. Anyhow, 394 to 481 yards. The pattern is available in English, French, and German, and the cost is $5.50 or €5.50 or $8.38 Canadian. The Secret Garden Sweater is a top-down knitted sweater with 3/4 sleeves. The body, being knit in color work, has less elasticity than it would have in a single color. I therefore recommend a positive ease of at least 10 centimeters, which is fine with me because I like a lot of positive ease. Some test knitters have knitted their sweater with long sleeves or as a cardigan. These variations are not part of the pattern, so you would have to know how to do that. Very size inclusive. It goes all the way from extra small up to 5XL. There are 34 projects already on Ravelry. Many of these I'm quite certain are the test knitters, but they're just, go check this pattern out. I'm gonna link to this, go check it out. I really, really like this pattern, and I have the yarn, if this yardage is correct. Or I could just walk up the street to my LYS, Natural You, and buy more yarn. I did not say that. Anyhow, so that's the Secret Garden Sweater. I'm going to put it on my wish list, I think. I'm not going to jump right in, but I really, really love everything about this sweater. Just the intricate color work. I like that neckline. I don't often wear things like turtleneck style or up around my neck. I like open like that. You know, us girls of a certain age who have hot flashes don't like things that kind of close in their necks. So, so that looks perfect for me. Anyhow, that's just an idea, something that that I saw come across across my feed, and I just thought, wow, you know what? I'm kind of digging that. Okay, so that's perhaps what's next. I'm really going to try and just focus on my Noctuidae sweater, but you know, whatever. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to announce is that the Open My Heart sock pattern is going live tomorrow. However, it's going live tomorrow for Patreon, for Patreon only. So if you are a supporter of the podcast on Patreon, you get first crack at the pattern, and then it will go live for everybody else at the end of next week. So watch for that. Don't forget that if you want to support the podcast and you want to get on, even at that cast on level of $5 per month, you will get early access to all patterns. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So that's exciting. So that's going live for Patreon, And then at the end of the week, it will go live for everybody else. It'll be over on Ravelry, and I'll post a link to it for you. Or you can pop on over, make sure that you follow me on Instagram, and you'll see a link there as well, okay? So I want to talk to you today about some of my faves. So as one does when one is drinking coffee in the morning, I was scrolling through Instagram looking at all the pretties that I could see, and came across Angela Long. So Angela Long has a, sorry, I've just lost the darn, sorry about that. I had it up here, but it closed on me. Where did she go? All right, so Angela, okay, you know what? I brought her website up, so let's just, Misneach. I am all about project bags, purses, totes, those kinds of things. And I saw Angela's Instagram picture that she's all set up for Knit City, Montreal. And she creates bags out of Harris tweed and out of Scottish tartan. So her website is Misneach, I don't know if I said that right, .ca, MISNEACH.ca, and I'll post a link. So yeah, Celtic inspired bags. So I went and I checked out her website, of course, you know, as one does. And she has Harris tweed project bags. Shut the front door. Look at that yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. So you can choose options, it says, all different kinds of colors. Let's see, Houndstooth, light green, Royal Stewart, black watch. Oh, so there's kind of a, whoops, there's a side view. Look at how beautifully lined that is. Oh, it's gorgeous. Okay, yeah. So anyway, she has these great project bags. This might be one of my very favorite tartans. Look at that yellow and black. Ooh. So the reason that I like this tartan, I'm going to tell you a little story. The reason that I like this tartan is because when I was a little girl, I absolutely loved the Bay City rollers. Loved them. I even had the outfit. Yes, I did. Me and my best friend Leslie, we had Bay City roller outfits. We listened to the albums. That's when you still bought albums. She would bring her record player over to my house or I to hers, and we had the albums. Each one of us had all the albums. So we would try and play the albums on our own turntables and match up the time that we dropped the needle onto the album. So both, you know, we'd get it in stereo. It's just, yeah, we did things like that. And my favorite person in the Bay City Rollers was Woody. Woody was the bass player. I loved him. Oh, and he wore this orange or yellow and black tartan. So that's why I like it, even to this day. Brings me back. Love it. So Angela is in North Glengarry, Ontario, and so is an amazing Canadian maker. Now, I have not had the pleasure of seeing her bags in real life. I've only seen them online, but I am really hoping to be able to avail myself of something lovely in the very near future because her bags are beautiful. So check her out. I'll put a link to her website and to her Instagram page once I find it again down in the show notes. And I encourage you to go check her out because just like supporting your LYS, it's important to support Canadian makers, right? All right, so another thing that is my fave, did you know, and you probably did because you're listening to a knitting podcast, Saturday, June the 10th is Knit in Public Day, Worldwide Knit in Public Day. So I know that my LYS down the street will be having some sort of an event. We talked about it at Knit Night this past Thursday, but of course they didn't want to give away any of the details quite yet. So I will be participating in Knit in Public Day. What about you? Is your LYS doing something for Knit in Public Day on June 10th? If they are, and you can, please participate, because these are the kinds of events that I'm talking about supporting your LYS, right? It's so important that we do this. Go to your Knit in Public Day, participate, take pictures, share it on your Instagram page or on your Facebook. This is a beautiful way to support, right? So I want to see all your Knit in Public Day pictures. Be sure to share them, okay? All right, so do I have anything else here that I wanted to show? No. So what we're going to do now is we are going to do the giveaway that I promised last episode. So as a wildly happy thank you to all of you for helping me in 8 episodes reach over 1,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel. I have gathered up a number of wonderful things from my favorite Canadian makers to share with you. So before I came to record today, my partner Paul and I did a random draw. He told me what number, and I matched that number up with the comments, and these are the winners I'm going to announce. So what I will do is announce here on the podcast. I will write instructions down in the show notes below with the winners' names. If you are a winner, you have to contact me via email, please, before the next podcast to claim your prize, and I will get those prizes shipped out. If I don't hear from you before the next podcast in a couple of weeks, then I will choose another winner. Okay, so here we go. So the first prize, first prize is this set of stitch markers here that I picked up at Natural U, my LYS. These are by a Nova Scotia maker, Stonehouse Design. And she's from, her name is Lynn Langille, I hope I said that right, from Waterside, Nova Scotia. And she makes these finely crafted works of art using sea glass, silver, and upcycled materials. So this is a beautiful set of stitch markers, and the winner of these is B.J. Rudden. B.J. Rudden. Congratulations, B.J. Rudden. Okay, so that is that prize. So next, I talked about this last episode by the lovely Mable and Rose Handmade. She has a beautiful store on Etsy. Go check that out. So this is the scissor or tool keeper chain. So it's got some beautiful beads and this cute pink little seahorse, and then the lobster claw clip here and here. So basically what you're going to do with this is you're going to hook one end into your bag and then hook your scissors or your stitch markers or something like that so that they don't fall to the bottom of the bag. It's hooked on to the side of your bag for easy access by Mable and Rose Handmade. And the winner of the scissor tool keeper chain is Shayna Hedges. Shayna Hedges. Congratulations, Shayna. And thanks so much for your comment. All right. And then again from the lovely Mable and Rose. Whoops. Sorry, my page here just turned. That has all the winners' names on it. Are these absolutely adorable. I can't tell you how close I was to just keeping these myself, but No, I want to give them away. So these excellent stitch markers here. So these stitch markers are for up to a max needle size of 6mm or 10.5 US. So you can see, whoops, this one says yarn over, yarn over. We've got make one left, make one right, knit two together here, knit two together, slip, slip, knit, and slip, slip, knit. Aren't they adorable? And then there's this little teeny ball of yarn bag that you can put them in. So these ones are going to Tired Bunny Laura. Tired Bunny Laura. Congratulations, Tired Bunny Laura. All right. And then we have this amazing skein of Natural Ewe yarn. This is the Morning Fog colorway. This is what the body of my Aster T is made in. Pure and simple fingering. So it's 100 grams, 400 meters. Pure and simple finger, untreated merino from Natural Ewe Yarns. And it's a big congratulations to Jacqueline J. Thank you so much for your comment, Jacqueline. I hope that you enjoy this skein of yarn. And then finally, the last prize, excuse me, is this package of Eco Sock Mini from Natural Ewe Yarns. So, oops, sorry, that's a little, I don't want to open the box. Here, how's that? Is that a bit better? So you've got the blues into the blues and purples. That's from my LYS, Natural Ewe Yarns. So this is 80% merino, 20% recycled nylon, 4 skeins, each approximately 25 grams, 85 meters. So that is the mini set from Natural Ewe Yarns, and congratulations to Susan Fuller. You've won this particular set of minis from Natural Ewe Yarns. So thank you all so much for your comments. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. I appreciate it. You just, you know, when you start doing these kinds of projects, you just don't know if there's actually anybody listening, you know, so you hope that you're talking away to the camera and you hope that somebody is listening to what you're sharing. So it's just such a thrill to have you all here with me every couple of weeks. And I do really appreciate it. So to close off the podcast today, we'll do our Knitter's Oracle card read. So I'm just giving them a little bit of a shuffle. Split the deck. Oh, that one just jumped right out. So that's the card. So what do we have today? The bind off. Haven't we had the bind off before? The bind off. So let's see what it says about the bind off here. Okay. Oops. There we go. Nope, I went too far. There we are. The bind off. When you reach the bind off, you know you're at a happy, satisfying ending. The goal is achieved. The job is done. Oh, happy day. The bind off is a sister card to the finished object, though they have subtle differences. The finished object is a bit more about the elation of victory, and the bind off more about quiet satisfaction of progress. After all, you may still have ends to weave in. The bind off. What do you think of that? When you reach the bind off, you know you're at a happy, satisfying ending. The goal is achieved. The job is done. Yes. Have you ever worked on a project and when you bound it off, you were disappointed because the project was over? You know, sometimes like reading a book, you get to the end and you're sad that the book is finished, or you watch a show and you come to the series finale and you know there's not going to be any more, and you're disappointed, you're sad about it. Do you ever feel that way about your knitting projects, your crochet, or any type of crafty pursuit? Sometimes I do. Sometimes though, I get to the bind off and I'm done, and yes, I'm happy, but for the reason that I hated knitting the project, you know what I mean? So I guess it's nice to think of finishing up a project as achieving a goal, right? But then if you're like me, sometimes you don't weave in those ends. Wonder why that is. Maybe I don't weave in the ends because I don't want the project to end. Or I don't weave in the ends because I'm lazy. Either or. So there it is. So friends, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 9 of the podcast. It is my great pleasure to come and chat with you every couple of weeks. So the next time that I podcast in 2 weeks, I will be including an episode of The Power of Sticks and Strings. So look forward to that. I'll be posting about it with some teasers on my Instagram feed. So check out the feed over there if you want a sneak peek, if you will. I think that you will really, really enjoy the next episode. So for now, take good care, keep knitting, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.